Marissa, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Yeah. So you're out of Florida.
Correct.
We actually met about 5 weeks ago in Tel Aviv,
Yeah,
which
the
is
Cannabis conference. That was so fun.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You know, we flew across the world to make a connection.
Yes, and it was on the eve of cannabis legalization.
That's right. It was the 16th. Yeah, that was because I celebrated my legalization in Tel Aviv, right?
So with all the Canadians and the Florida girl.
Yeah, the Canadians, the Americans, the Israelis.
Yeah.
So you're out of Florida. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little biography, and where you're at today?
Sure. So I was moving back down to Florida after living in New York and Tel Aviv and all over in June 2017.
Yeah.
I was a teacher, an educator in New York. So when I was moving down to Florida, my dad's a radiation oncologist, and medical marijuana had just been, legalized. So I said to myself, how do I break into that industry? We have a patient base, and cannabis is good for patients. So I just got my feet wet a little bit. I checked out the expo in New York. Just started self-educating myself, reading everything that I could, and I just made it happen. I finally launched Green and Well in August 2018.
Yeah. Okay. So this is hot off the presses. You're like almost 6 months in to Green and Well. So Green and Well is your company.
Yeah.
And it's based out of Florida because that's where you are.
Florida.
And what is Green and Well's mission?
So Green and Well is a medical cannabis concierge service.
Okay.
So basically, where we're at in Florida, far behind Canada, people know it's medical, but they don't really know how to get a medical card.
Yeah.
So Green and Well says, hey, first of all, we bring awareness and education. Like, hey, it's medical in Florida. If you have this, that, and the other condition, we can help get you access to the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And we just streamline the process and make it as simple as possible for the patients. I work directly with doctors in-house. So there's, a consultation fee, and the doctor then can recommend medical marijuana, and then you have a little waiting period for the registration with the state, and then you get your email and then your card. Eventually, the card takes longer than the email, but once you have your email, you're good to go. And we even assist you to your first dispensary. Because it can be overwhelming.
So you're guiding these patients
the whole process
from A to Z.
Correct.
So and they don't. So when you guide them, so when they get to the dispensary part,
right?
So how are you guiding them there? They walk. Do you go with them?
Yeah.
You go with them.
We'll go together.
Oh, okay.
Or we'll meet there. It depends. And we just make sure that they're satisfied and that. I actually consult a lot with Dr. Marnie Brooks from Canada.
Okay, yeah.
Because we consult a lot with out-of-state doctors who've had more experience in the industry than Florida doctors. So I bring knowledge from Israel, from Canada, from California, depending on what condition the patient has.
Yeah.
I know which doctor to reach out to and make sure that we're all in line, and that we're following the correct steps and that they're getting the correct CBD to THC ratio, all of that. We're still working on the strains and knowing the strains in Florida because it is so new.
Yeah, you're not you're a little ways away from getting down to exact terpene profile identification maybe, or is Florida on its way there?
Well, we know. We know sativa, we know indica, terpenes are, we know about them, but, we're trying to just really, the strains, really testing them. I know Strain Print is going to be coming in and helping us out in that area.
Oh, you're going to be working with a Canadian software company?
Well, not directly, but
but they're going to be coming into Florida.
They're going to be coming in, and the patients will be able to use their app, and the doctors will be able to use their app, and really start learning the strains and how it's affecting each individual.
Yeah. It's so important. So important, right?
Correct.
And, so you're really, Green and Well, you're just bridging this valley of I guess misinformation or lack of information.
Right. The doctors are still hesitant because it's still scheduled the way it is. We need to deschedule it, and doctors are afraid because it's a Schedule I drug, and the federal government could take their license away. They're afraid. But so
there's a smaller amount of doctors then because of that fear in Florida than you would hope?
Well, the doctor list is growing.
It is,
and people are becoming more comfortable with it, but they would like, the doctors would like to see more studies, more research, more clinical trials. That'll make them feel more comfortable. They're used to kind of living in fear of lawsuits.
Okay,
So that's scary. My father is a radiation oncologist, and that's kind of how I decided to, get into it, like I said. So
was he seeing this in his practice? Did he see was he seeing cannabis enter into his patient?
That's what we're still working on. They didn't want in his practice to do what I'm doing. That's why I kind of had to create a separate clinic. That eventually we'd like to turn into a holistic healing center. So right now we're just very focused on the cannabis side of it. But I think that for the whole being, it's important to take care of every area of it. So we don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it and say, oh, here's cannabis, be happy, be well. But also, maybe that patient also needs an acupuncturist, a chiropractor, a masseuse, and we're all about also anti-aging at our clinic. What will be, So right now we're just working directly with the doctors, and patients go to that doctor's office. But soon we want to bring everything to the Holistic Healing Center and have it all there in one place, and have not only cannabis doctors, but a bunch of holistic healers, kind of.
So cannabis will be more of a tool in your health and wellness tool belt.
Correct.
Than the main. Than using one hammer, so to speak. I'll stick with the tool analogy. Not that I'm a tool guy.
Exactly. I think that people who turn to cannabis prefer plants over pills, prefer a more somewhat of a holistic lifestyle. I like to say that I'm personally holistic yet realistic.
That's a good statement.
So, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's okay to have a burger once in a while, but we know that vegetables are good for us. So, we try the best you can, and everybody's human. You don't have to be so to this side. You can, be somewhere in the middle. I'm all about balance. I'm a Libra.
Well, I think to your point, cannabis is really breaking down that barrier, or that we've put up over the last 100 years. It's this movement back to that more holistic.
I think there is a
approach
return
to
back.
medicine.
I totally agree. 100%.
Herbal approach.
Exactly, herbal medicine. And what my father is most interested in is getting people off of opiates. And if this plant can do that, why not explore that option?
Are opiates? I think opiates are a big problem everywhere, but is it a big problem in Florida specifically as well?
I don't think it's as large a problem as elsewhere. But it is something that is important. That if we can substitute a plant, why not? And it is kind of a passion project on me and my father's part, because my father's father, died of lung cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And thanks. It was 4 years ago, before we were medical in Florida. So if we don't have to see another person suffer the way that he did, and my dad has several, so many patients that he's seen over the years, if we can create a better quality of life, ease the pain and suffering that goes on, and increase appetite, decrease nausea, why not?
So is that am I kind of hearing was that a real personal driver for you? Other than the industry was coming online, and you're a teacher, so you've got a skill set for teaching people, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
Was that a trigger for you?
I'd like to say that this project is in my grandfather's name to keep his memory alive, and kind of like doing a mitzvah, for the world, which is a good deed for those that don't know what that word means. If we can, just do this for him, kind of, and keep his memory alive.
Yeah. So you would have liked to have had this as an option for him to make his quality of life better near the end. Is what
I mean, I'm sorry that I didn't think of it back then. Because we knew about it. It was like kind of black market, illegal. So we didn't, try it. But it was like looking back, what was I thinking? And they tried Marinol for him for the anti-nausea. I think that is. A pharmaceutical drug with a little bit of cannabis in it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if they put it in like a pill form, pharmaceutical companies can do it, but it didn't work for him.
No, he needed something stronger, something, or that might have made him more
for his endocannabinoid system. It didn't work. Is all I can say. Maybe it works for other people, like that. It's a personal medicine.
So let's talk about your patients that you're working with right now. So do you have any examples of some moving moments that you've experienced, or some patients that you've helped? Is there a certain demographic as well that you're noticing is mostly coming to you for help?
Interesting you ask. So right now it is kind of the soccer moms, I'd say.
Oh, really? So the soccer mom demographic is a big one.
I've been putting things out there that would cater towards them, because I am a mom.
Yeah. Are your kids in soccer?
Not yet. Martial arts. But so someone came to me and said, "Hey, I have terrible migraines. Can this help migraines?" And I said, "Well, actually, yeah, it can." So I set her up and walked through the process, and actually I don't know if she's even tried it yet. It was just so recent. This is so new. And then I have another friend, that's how I kind of got started, was just with my friends, and just testing the waters.
They're coming to you for advice, essentially.
And this way I could help perfect my skill and follow up with them, see how it's going. And it was just so new. Actually, last week I took my first patient to the dispensary.
Oh, amazing.
So I will definitely follow up with her to see how that went. But there are stories that I hear, like at the CanX conference. This woman, after a very moving talk by Samantha Roman, comes up to me and Samantha, and she says to Samantha, "Thank you. I'm a cancer survivor. My 2 brothers died of cancer. I'm the only, survivor in my family. Like, she's the matriarch now." She said, "Cannabis saved me. The only reason I'm here is cannabis. Everyone else died of cancer in her family."
And that's where she throws the credit. That's amazing. So for yourself, what is it in your personal life? What is it?
That's why I do what I do. Is these stories, these one-off stories, or someone that works at a nursing home in Florida. I told him what I'm doing, and he said, my friend's father is still alive today, 8 years later, after he stopped radiation and chemo because he was just done. And he's still alive. So I hear these stories, and we don't know yet what it is in the cannabis plant that's helping these people. But it's clearly helping. Absolutely. So what are your hopes? What are your hopes for Florida? Like, what do you see coming down the pipeline in the cannabis industry, or the medical realm there? Well, there's Regulate Florida, and they're really pushing for getting legalization on the ballot.
Okay.
So I think if the 2020 ballot has that, on it, and we can vote it in, I mean, medical passed with 70%.
70% approval. So that was a ballot? That was a ballot issue, medical? Okay, and how long has it been?
And that happened in 2014.
So 2014.
Were the first licenses that were handed out.
And Florida is a restricted license state, from what I understand.
It's there's only medical. Oh, you mean there's medical marijuana treatment centers. Yeah, there's 14 of them in the state.
Yeah,
and we're waiting for them to open.
That's a big state for only 14.
Correct. Well, they have several locations. You can have up to 30 dispensaries right now, and that will increase with the number of patients registered.
Yeah.
And also with the number of patients registered, they have to hand out, for every 100,000 patients registered, they have to hand out 4 more licenses.
Production licenses. Is
correct.
That? Okay, so
it's
cultivation.
Vertically integrated.
Yeah.
To cultivate, process, and dispense.
Per each company has to do all of those things. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's very unique. That's very unique.
Well,
that's good for the company. Is that good? Is that good? Is it not good?
Well, typically in other states, you've seen vertical go horizontal. And in Israel, too. They started out vertical there and went horizontal.
Yeah.
So I think that companies entering should be aware of that and be ready to go horizontal when the time comes.
Yeah, over to the rec market, you mean? Or
I don't know
or
when
just
go
just
horizontal. I don't know, because Israel, they're still medical. They went from vertical to horizontal.
Yeah.
Just staying medical. So who knows?
Okay.
I mean, I think that if you get enough people, like lobbyists pushing, then it could happen. I don't know who's pushing, but that's my feel. It's all a political game.
Well, I mean when we were over there listening to Dr. Raphael Meshulam speak, he who's the guy who discovered THC in the endocannabinoid system, who's Israeli in 1964. He kept saying, we were researching the effects of cannabinoid-based medicine on epilepsy 20 years ago or 25 years ago, and his comment, and he made it a few times, he said we could have been helping people since then, 20 years ago.
And this is interesting that you said epilepsy, because I have a close friend of mine who's actually in Vegas last night, just for line of work she's in. Her sister died of an epileptic seizure at 17. Her sister's doctor called her up about 6 months ago and said, he was crying, saying, I'm so sorry. I think I could have saved your sister, and I failed you. Because now we know.
Wow.
But then we didn't.
Doctors are getting... That's a really powerful story. I mean, as from that doctor's perspective, now he's carrying this regret. Oh, wow.
And I feel it too. I feel sad. Like, I just met somebody with Parkinson's in Florida, a veteran, who gave up his medical card because he owns a firearm and has a license to own a firearm. And he chose his firearm over the plant. And he had to give up his medical card because in Florida, I don't know how it is in other places, but in Florida, someone got arrested for having a medical card and cannabis on them, as well as a conceal and carry weapon and license. So they're like in jail now.
Oh, what? Really?
Because you can't have a medical card if you have a concealed carry. Yeah.
Oh, because you're on cannabis. That's.
I mean, I think it's worse.
Ridiculous. Wow.
Someone who's like drunk who has a firearm is way more dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that there's. You're absolutely right. I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's either half or more of all domestic violence issues, all murders, alcohol is involved, and that's like a global statistic, right? So, that's
and then he had to go in for brain surgery for his Parkinson's when the cannabis was working. The tremors were less. He was sleeping better. So, and then I hear stories like that, and it just makes me sad that the laws really need to catch up. And with flying with your medicine, the TSA or whoever creates that law, like, the states have spoken. And the federal government in America needs to catch up and deschedule it, or, I think Congress has to deschedule it, and then, all these laws kind of need to trickle down, and, drug testing.
employee drug testing.
So some woman came to me and, said that her husband's on like 3,000 milligrams of CBD a day, has a terrible autoimmune disease. And I consulted with a doctor out in California who said that for his conditions and the symptoms that she was telling us, that he really needs THC. And that the THC will help. But he wouldn't do it because he could get fired. So
now
he doesn't want to risk his job.
We're into a human rights issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
So these rules and regulations really need to catch up with the times.
Yeah.
And America's falling behind. Canada's legal.
I'm getting a lot of the speakers that I've heard at this conference. I feel like there's this little bit of resentment in the American business world right now for our legalization.
We need to get on the ball here, America.
I mean, a lot of Americans are very happy for us too. Don't get me wrong.
We're happy for you.
but
we just need to stay in the game.
Yeah,
I think it needs to happen. But
and you're about and the U.S. is about to end up in it looks like a legalized sandwich. Mexico I think is going to go next, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And Florida's an interesting state right now, especially as winter is approaching. I must say that I have a very heavy focus on the snowbirds that come down from Canada.
Oh yeah.
That have their medical cards. If you live in Florida for over a certain amount of days, you can get your medical card.
Okay.
So I've kind of partnered with doctors in Canada, New York, New Jersey, Michigan. Say, hey, send me your patients. They'll be well taken care of. We can consult, make sure that they're getting the correct, medicine at the best dispensaries in Florida.
Oh, that's great.
And this is a big niche that I've kind of positioned myself in.
Yeah, so you can bridge the gap for Canadian medical patients legally when they go down to Florida.
Correct.
So that they're not reaching into what is probably still a significant black market down there, right? If they needed to, right?
Right, so they can get... I do like the medical market because you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like for some people, if they get a sativa strain, it's not good. It can create like a psychotic episode.
Yeah.
So they need to make sure that they know what they're getting, not on the black market. Legal and safe access to the medicine that they prefer.
So, close out here. This is your. Is this the rest of your life? Do you think this is a moment and you've found your
this
your
is
way?
My passion. I kind of moved around into different industries and I'm here and I love what I do and this isn't work to me. Someone saw me with this on and they're like, oh, you're here for work, and I was like, well, I guess it's work, but I love it.
This is the best work.
I'm helping people and I just love what I'm doing. And I'm working with like the most fun people in this industry you meet, and
I've had tougher jobs as well, and it is, and it's exciting. It's exciting hearing. This is a story I've been hearing a lot, right? I mean, I'm sure everything you've done in your life up till now, especially your teaching career. I mean, by accident, that's benefiting you in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
You're applying all of that.
It is so funny that you said that because I started out as a broker on Wall Street, and then I did a little bit of PR and marketing in the fashion industry, and then I became a teacher.
Yeah.
And for what I'm doing now, I'm educating people.
Yeah.
I'm like marketing myself and my company, and I'm also creating partnerships and brokering a little bit. So it's like everything just kind of came together. And I think my grandfather's helping me out up there. I don't know, but it's just it's a great feeling, and the passion and the motivation behind it. It just makes it fun.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you're having fun. Thank you so much,
Thanks for
Marissa.
having me.
I appreciate it. And,
it's been wonderful.
Thanks for helping us learn a little bit about Florida.
Come on
and what
down.
you're doing down there. Yeah, well, it is. We like Canadians. As you know, your snowbird. We like to come down between the months of, November and February. Right. Some of us into April as well.
Yeah, it gets too hot. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.